Hey everybody, just wanted to talk about a couple things. In case you haven't heard, the first wave of refugees are getting closer to the U.S. border. They are at present in Tijuana, being kept in a house there. It's about 75, 76 individuals. But here's the twist. They're all from the LGBTQ community. Imagine that. So that being said, I can only imagine that the mentality behind that, knowing full well that they're being prompted by the globalist sons of bitches trying to topple this country, the last vestige of freedom on the globe, last vestige of armed citizens on the globe. It just stands to reason they need us out of the way for their globalist agenda. But that being said, I can see this playing out easily when they're refused entrance into the United States, that they're going to twist this. You know, the Communist News Network, CNN, lying pack of sons of bitches they are going to twist this into, oh, look, Trump's against the gay community. You know what? And so what if he is? I mean, even though you represent everybody, common sense mandates, folks. I'm going to read you folks something. I don't know how familiar any of you are with the Bible. There's a segment in here in Romans 1. It begins at Romans 1:18. I'm going to read it. For those of you that don't believe in God, feel free to go to a different video. It's called "The Gentiles Guilty Before God. For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men, who hold the truth in unrighteousness, because that which may be known of God is manifest in them," meaning that it's real apparent that God exists. "For God hath shewed it unto them," meaning, again, it's professed in all things in creation. "For God hath shewed it unto them. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made," meaning that God is manifest in all of creation, and I agree. Some things are just so beautiful and so complex. Without divine creation, these morons that think that nothing came from nothing is just beyond my comprehension. "Even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse," meaning no human being is without excuse. "Because that when they knew God, they glorified him not as God, neither were thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened." Boy, if that don't sound like the world today. Not that it doesn't sound like humanity throughout history. "Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools, and changed the glory of the uncorruptible God into an image made like to corruptible man, and to birds, and four-footed beasts, and creeping things. Wherefore God also gave them up to uncleanness through the lusts of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves, who changed the truth of God into a lie, and worshipped and served the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. For this cause God gave them up unto vile affections. For even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature. And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burned in their lust one toward another, men with men, working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense of their error which is meet. And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind, to do those things which are not convenient, being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, whisperers, backbiters, haters of God, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents. Funny how he threw that one in there, isn't it? Disobedient to parents. Boy, if we don't live in that generation, starting in the 1960s. Without understanding, covenant breakers, without natural affection, implacable, unmerciful, who knowing the judgment of God, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them. Folks, this world is smack dab in the middle of Romans 1. I've said that for a while. And like I said, looking at the agenda of the globalists and their communist news network, you know, folks, 6 corporations own the entire media outlets globally. All media is controlled by 6 corporations, which is a funnel of propaganda and social programming. I had an individual on my Facebook page. The name of this individual, which I know was a fake account, was May Marcia, just trying to instigate. Wound up getting a couple of my friends, got them pretty fired up, got them kicked off for I think 24 hours each one of them for replying to this insane human being. And that's what they do. These people are agitators. They are professional agitators. And I'm going to make a point of that here in this video. You know, these people just pick and pick and pick. Look what just happened to Tucker Carlson from Fox News. I've become real fond of Tucker Carlson and the type of journalism that he practices. This man is fair. He's looks at all sides of a topic and gives these individuals opportunities to defend their stands, their statements, their insanity, and why people can't see this, that are on that side. And there are sides here, folks. We live in a tribal society. And yet they've started doxing this man, where multiple individuals are standing outside his home in the middle of the night with a blowhorn, screaming and yelling at this man, at his wife and his children at his home. This is what these individuals, this is straight out of the Nazi propaganda playbook, people. Dehumanize the individuals that are opposing your agenda. Demonize them. Make them less than human, and therefore it becomes fine to do whatever happens to these individuals. And so here's Tucker Carlson at a dinner party the other night, is my understanding. I watched the video. It wasn't real clear to me exactly what happened, but my understanding is that an individual from the LGBTQ community was present at this dinner. And in conversation, he wound up referring to Tucker Carlson's young daughter as Tucker's whore. And obviously, like any dignified human being, he lost his cool. I think he was quite dignified in his actions in response, comparably speaking, to what I would have reacted as such. I probably would have bit pieces off this human being. But this is the tactics they've resorted to. We've got individuals in upper elected positions that are truthfully fearful, and rightfully so. These people have lost their mother effing minds. You know, the depth of this propaganda. You know, let me back up to Tucker Carlson's house. You know, where is law enforcement when this shit's going on? You know, they want to disarm us like we're all safe. Here is a crowd of individuals standing outside his home. One person went up and kicked his door. Now, what if he'd have gained entrance? He would have easily been able to enter. In comes a crowd of people, unarmed. I didn't see any police there. The video lasted for several minutes. I didn't see any law enforcement showing up while they stood outside chanting vile things at this man's home in a free country. And like I said, Tucker Carlson is probably about as fair as you can get. He gives these people, like I said, opportunities to defend their stand, none of which can do so, and so they lash out with the name calling and the rest. We've all seen it. So let's back up to this May Marcia individual again. You know, people, this is the reason why we've got to keep driving this nail home, because we're winning. We're getting under their skin. We are having an effect, and we are waking people up one individual at a time. And if you can win over one individual, perhaps they can win over their family. Once you start someone down this rabbit hole of truth and the depth and magnitude of the lies and effing bullshit that these people have been spewing for decades, once you get somebody introduced to the entrance to the rabbit hole and they start looking into this stuff for themselves, the truth becomes real apparent. You know, it's just like this borderline bar shooting. Folks, I watched that video on CNN with Wolf Blitzer warning us, what you're about to see is truly terrifying. And so here's this individual taking a video with their telephone. Now mind you, they set this whole stage up with, hundreds of people, diversified age group, line dancing in a bar. And so as Wolf Blitzer describes this scene, you would think that when they show you the video that he warns you of is graphic and horrifying. And so he goes to the video, and it's like they're doing LSD or something. You're thinking, well, did they pull up the wrong video? Did they, what's the punchline here? It looked like something out of a stinking comedy skit. The dance floor was empty. Wasn't a human being in the video other than one guy standing at the entrance to the establishment, leaning on his chin like this, had a baseball cap on, and then you see an individual pop out from behind a wall, and then you hear 9 shots. No human beings around, not another human being in this place. Now mind you, this was the horrifying view into the borderline bar where this tragic shooting had taken place. You would think if that happened, there'd be some blood on the dance floor, some music playing, because who would take the time if a shooter came in to shut off the music? There would be beer bottles laying on the floor, maybe some bodies laying around, some chaos. They described it as people throwing bar stools through the windows to escape the mad gunman. And he just goes on and paints this dramatic picture of what we're supposed to see when we look at this video. And then what you see is a guy standing at the very back of the bar at the doorway, the rear exit, panning forward, and it is a complete empty dance floor, not a human being, not a glass beer bottle or anything out of place, nothing. And then you hear 9 shots, and that's it. And that was the horrifying video that Wolf Blitzer introduced. Now, I would ask, are people that fucking stupid? Are they that tranquilized that they would watch this and say, oh yeah, that was just truly horrifying. My God, we've got to take the guns. And then they get these crisis actors. People, not one frickin' person was shot in the borderline bar. Not a police officer, not a human being, nobody. Look it up. Look for GoFundMe pages for victims of the borderline bar. There would be GoFundMe pages on there if they murdered 12 victims. I mean, there's got to be something, nothing except the CNN video that Wolf Blitzer warned us of. And then the crisis actors, no tears, just a bunch of, oh, my son didn't come home. I don't want your prayers. Yeah, you don't want our prayers because you're a frickin' demon. That's why you don't want our prayers. Demons don't like prayers. No more guns. Yeah, kiss my ass. You think we're stupid enough to fall for that? You know what? We're not all smoking the shit you're smoking, CNN, or the rest of you Wolf Blitzer and the rest of you lying pricks, you CIA stinking operatives, because that's exactly what you are. People, you need to wake up and realize the shit these people are shoveling. They want your guns. Period. If you ain't figured that out by now, God help you. I keep telling you people, we've got problems brewing at the border. We've got huge issues taking place with Israel and Hamas right now. That could explode at any moment. We've got situations going with Iran, which are fabricated. Now, mind you, folks, 99.9% of this shit going on in the Middle East was propagated by the United States, with thanks to that puke frickin' Obama and Hillary frickin' Rodham Clinton, the wife of the rapist William Clinton, drug-running, stinking, lying, murderous pack of shits they are. People, wake up. The fact that we're being attacked, the fact that I'm being attacked, the fact that I'm being censored on Facebook and on YouTube, the fact that my friends that have very well publicized, huge amounts of people follow them, they're being censored every time they put anything on there that isn't pro whatever the left-wing agenda is. Put anything on there. An election recommendation, banned 30 days. So if what I'm telling you is false, why are they so eager to ban the truth? Why are they so worried about an opposing view? because the opposing view is the truth. That's why. And they have to silence the truth because they want to take as many of you with them when they go. These people are freaking demonic. Just like what I just read you out of God's word, God's written word. He didn't guess at this. This wasn't just a lucky guess that this is what society would develop into at the end times. He knew. He knew the end from the beginning. People, if you're more worried about $1 in the bank than you are a can of soup on the shelf, you got it ass backwards. Let me tell you something. You see these? That's a week's worth of food, $75, free shipping. If you're not buying these like they're going out of style, you're out of your freaking mind. What these people are doing right now, and they're willing to take it to the next level. They're willing to kick your door in and kill you if that's what it takes to accomplish their objective. These people ain't playing games, folks. Just look back over the last 12 months. Seriously, think about it. Sit down, either Google it, write it down if you have a good memory of all of the things that have been perpetrated against conservatives and Christians over the last 12 months. See, the problem is it comes at you so fast that you forget about the other 15 and just remember the last 3 or the last 2 or the last 1, whatever they want to keep your nose shoved into while they're doing bullshit someplace else. This is a shell game, folks. They want to keep you as freaking distracted as they possibly can. You know, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Alex Jones isn't a conspiracy theorist. Neither is Breitbart, Reuters, John X Army. I could go on and on naming all these different sites. These people are telling the truth. They're trying to introduce you to the opening of the rabbit hole in hopes and prayers that you people will wake up and realize that all of this other shit going on around you is nothing but fabricated slavery, social programming to get you to do exactly what they want you to do. And that's what's happening because most of you are frickin' asleep. Stop watching Fox News thinking that's going to give you the truth, even though I believe there are small pockets of it still there on Fox News, Tucker Carlson being one. I think that man truly and sincerely practices true journalism. The rest of these son of a bitches are lying, mother, stinking, lousy pricks out to deceive you. CNN truly is a communist news network. That is not just a pun. That is a fact. MSNBC, same thing. CBS, ABC, NBC, all of them are owned by the 6 corporations I mentioned in the beginning of this. Disney, all of the television stations. Folks, it just goes on and on. And they're permeating you. They are inundating you with social programming. Their commercials, the demasculization of men. Why do you think there is such an explosion in suicide, drug addiction, alcoholism among the white males between the ages of 18 and 35? It has exploded. It is out of control. It has quadrupled over the last 5 years. People, you need to look around. You need to be investing in shit like this. You need to be investing in ammunition to protect the shit you have. Because them dollars you're saving in the bank ain't going to be worth ass wipe by the time they're done. Because let me tell you something, these global bankers, the Federal Reserve, the people that own the Federal Reserve, because they're about as Federal Express. I've told you that before in other videos. These people want to topple this nation. You want to help the United States? You truly want to be a sovereign nation? Throw out the United Nations and get rid of the frickin' Federal Reserve, because those 2 organizations are the frickin' death and the enslavement of this nation. Period. And all these other little organizations like Antifa and the LGBTQ and the environmentalist movement and the feminist movement and all that, let me tell you something, they have been infiltrated, not to mention the churches. Most churches have been infiltrated by these organizations. That's why they're tax exempt, thanks to President Johnson, Lyndon Baines Johnson. Yeah. People, I am begging you, to look into this stuff for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Don't take anybody's word for it. Look into it for yourself. This stuff is true. We have an issue unfolding at the southern border that is just one more attempt at toppling what is probably the last great president this nation will ever see. Because he's probably the first one we've had since Kennedy. Reagan didn't do half bad. But there are a lot of decisions he made that were nothing but puppeteering for the globalists. Wake up, people. If you truly care about your family, if you truly love your family, do what I'm telling you to. Prepare yourselves. Get a wood stove. Stockpile firewood. Do these things. Do whatever it takes. You know, the electricity went out the other day, and I heard, I don't even know how many people, dozens. Oh no, what am I going to do for heat? What am I going to do for this? You know what I did? I came home, lit the wood stove, pulled out a couple lanterns, lit those, cooked a little bit of chili on the stove, and by the time we even had that cooked, the power was back on. But you know what? I wouldn't have given two shits if it never came back on, because my life would go absolutely unaltered. Okay? I wouldn't need to rush to the grocery store for fear that it was going to be emptied. I wouldn't have to worry whether or not the gas was turned on. I wouldn't have to care if the electricity ever came back on. It's irrelevant to me. Absolutely irrelevant. And that's exactly how you should be. That's how our ancestors lived. That's how our grandparents lived. But people, we've lost touch with independence and self-sufficiency. Everybody's looking in another direction for that safety net, something to fall back on when shit hits the fan, because it's going to hit the fan. I keep telling you that, and I pray that you're listening. A lot of shit going on in this world, people. A lot of individuals at the top of that pyramid that are looking to kick this nation's legs out from under it. And they can't abide a president like Donald Trump. And they certainly can't abide a citizenry that backs and endorses his way of thinking, because it's American. And they can't have American in a globalist society. Think about what I'm telling you, folks. I don't do this for my health. It's not that I enjoy the sound of my voice. I would rather not do these videos. But the fact of the matter is, somebody needs to keep driving that nail home. Somebody needs to keep sending this message. And it's obviously working, because when people hate you, look at your enemies. That's how you know what road you're on. God bless each and every one of you. Pray for this nation, folks. Pray for this president. Pray for our Christian brothers and sisters, because I'm not seeing the left-wing nut jobs giving up anytime soon. They're never going to stop. They're going to keep coming. I've said it before. We're at war, and this is a winner-take-all situation. The diametric division between the two sides now is so vast, we're never going to bridge it. And they're not looking to bridge it. They're not looking to reach across the aisle. They're not looking to meet in the middle. This is, in fact, a winner-take-all. Sooner or later, every one of us are going to have to make a decision. Make that choice. Think about it, folks. Have a great day.